Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kate Kite. This is the Members Matter meeting for May 15th, 2025. I would like to thank Zachary Husky and the Sally Logan Library for hosting us today. And we're going to give a few moments to bring up the slides with friends. We had a couple of our normal people that travel with us were unable to travel with us today. So I'd like to give a huge thank you to Leah Gregory and John Kirchner for stepping up and doing even more than they normally do to support Third Thursday. And also we have Troy Brown here with us today, who is helping support our efforts today as well. And we'll give an update later. There we go. Okay, excellent. I encourage you all to join with the QR code or else the slideswith.com/IHLS to join our Members Matter trivia game. Oh, you want just a moment. Give everybody a few seconds to join. Link in the chat. Oh, thank you. John is pasting the link in the chat. It's just yeah. Thank you, Jace, for letting us know you're playing just for fun. So we will not rib you too badly when you get the answers wrong. So. Okay, if you didn't join this screen, you can still join us in the next screen. So we'll just to see how it works. If this is your first time, which you know we have a lot of returning players. How's everyone feeling this morning? I know we all had a great laugh today with some of those signs in Dr. Rogers' presentation. He was really a pleasure to work with, and I'm going to check out some of his other topics. People responding. Excellent. 4.0 out of 5. I think that is really good for a Thursday morning in May. Okay. Me go ahead. Yep. Okay, so during each department's update, there will be a question or two for you to answer. So our first department update will be the administration update provided by Ellen Cobbett.
I'm the pinch hitter. Hey, if I talk, can you hear me down here? Okay, very good. Welcome, everybody. It's good to be here. It's good to be here in Murfreesboro today. One thing I want to start out with is one of the reasons that these members matter, their Thursday events were set up in the very beginning was so that we at the system could have a dedicated time every month where we could interact with members and get input from members. So this is very important to us that all of you are here, and we appreciate it. And we encourage you to speak up, ask questions, really participate. It is input that we need on a consistent basis. That being said, two things we're looking for input for you from at this point in time. Our operational plan for the FY26 year is up on our website. It's up available for you to comment on. We'd love to see you take some time to look it over and let us know what you think about it. At the board meeting in May, I believe it's May 27th, maybe is our board meeting, the last Tuesday in May. The board will look at that for a second reading and approve it to be sent on to the state library. So look at our budget, look at our operational plan, and please let us know what you think about it. Following that operational plan being put out for comment, a review of our bylaws will also be on our website for you to look at. Again, we really appreciate any input you have. So give us a look and let us know what you think. And that's really it from the administrative standpoint, Kate.
Thank you, Ellen.
pros.
Okay, give us just a minute. Leah is usually not the one that runs the slides with Brenda, so she is doing a terrific job filling in today, so. Okay, so what federal act, separate from IMLS funding, must be reauthorized in fiscal year 2026 to allow IMLS to continue? And is that A, the Kermit and Miss Piggy Act, B, the Literacy and History Appropriations Act, C, the Libraries Are Awesome and Indispensable Act, or D, the Museum and Library Services Act?
We need Jeopardy music.
We do. I thought
John would be
I'm literally humming it right now in my head. I'll ask Sam to make us a little county.
Yes.
He'll probably do it on purpose.
I'm kind of new to this too, but this has got John written all over it. Does he come up with these?
Yeah.
That
it's
was
group
actually
effort.
me.
Yeah,
That was
it's-
actually,
That question was mine, yeah.
he does the last question.
Okay.
Ready?
You wrote a lot of the ones.
Yes.
Okay.
And the correct answer is the Museum and Library Services Act. Yeah, and Troy, because you didn't hear Troy's question, Troy asked who comes up with the questions. It is a group effort between most of us who come to the third Thursdays monthly. Although John does do the last final trivia question, which is why we'll have him read that one. So what two documents does IHLS request member feedback on by noon on May 23rd? That A, the fiscal year 2026 budget and operational plan, B, the AMHS name and sorting speed, C, IHLS logo and brand colors, or D, strategic plan and resource sharing budget? That's correct, the fiscal year 2026 budget and operational plan. And that can be found on our website. I know if you go to our news page, it's on there. And our next update is our human resources update. And I am speaking again on behalf of Jill Trevino this month. So the bookings for HR appointments still are not open through the website just yet. But if you are interested and you have not yet applied, there's the HR Source membership grant, which reduces the cost to our member libraries to participate in HR Source for a year. Those close at 5 p.m. today, May 15th, 2025. And our question is, where can you find up-to-date information on required state compliance postings? And these are, let's see, A, your local DMV, B, the Department of Required Postings, your website, C, the Illinois Department of Labor website, or D, Google.
It needs to exist.
Just.
And that is correct, it's the Illinois Department of Labor website. You all are doing so excellent. We might have to get out the wheel of names to get a winner today. Okay, and now I'm gonna turn it over to John for the share update.
Yes, hello everyone, good morning. So, don't have too much to share with you right now, but I do want to mention, the annual agreements have been sent out to our share member libraries, via DocuSign. Just a reminder, these are not bills, but they are informing you how much your share member fee will be for fiscal year 2026. And we do need you to sign them and send them back to us via DocuSign as soon as possible, so that we have a record of that. And we do this in part for our own record keeping and also to make it a little bit easier for our members to do their budgeting ahead of time. So if you have not signed that and sent it back yet, please do. If you have any questions regarding your share member fees, please contact Cassandra Thompson with any questions that you have. And then the Only other thing is just a reminder, we have some group purchases coming up, such as the Share McNaughton book leasing program. And that is, the deadline to sign up for that, as well as the IHLS Swank movie licenses group discount. Both is May 30th. So if you are interested in either one of those, you do have to sign up before May 30th. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Cassandra or me, or really anyone.
It's another question.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have to re-sign up every year to be with the swing, or if I was already with it last year, you'll let me know?
You should sign up every year,
Oh.
just to, yeah, cause we definitely don't wanna like sign you up for it if we're not like certain that you wanna do it, so yeah, you do have to sign up every year. And that's really all I have for share, unless anyone else has anything to add, or anyone has any more questions.
And just in case the owl didn't pick it up, the question that was asked is, if you already have a license under the swank, do you need to contact Share to renew that every year, or is it auto renewed, basically? And you do need to renew it every year.
Yes, you do.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
So what Share event will be hosted by the Lincoln Public Library on May 29th?
Oh,
A, sharing is caring, resource sharing with friends. B, Share Executive Council meeting. C, Dina Porter Appreciation Day. Or D, Cataloging Work Day.
Every day is Dina Porter.
And because we have two named Lincoln, is this the Lincoln Library in Springfield or the
it
Lincoln
is the
Library in
Lincoln
Lincoln?
Library in Lincoln, the Lincoln
Okay.
Public
Okay.
Library
District.
District in Lincoln, Illinois.
We have some spread here.
Oh, it's actually a cataloging work day, although Erin does say, I vote we should have a Dina Porter Appreciation Day. We may have to take that to the membership for vote.
Yes. And
But- No, I meant it in the proper way. We just can't go. I mean, Dina, for the record, I think you deserve an appreciation. Day too.
And then, FYI about cataloging workday, we're gonna have some Share catalogers at the public library in Lincoln, Illinois. And it's a great opportunity for you to bring items that you're having trouble with, sit down with one of our catalogers and get some one-on-one time to learn some more about cataloging and get that one-on-one training. So please, and as Jay said, please register an L2 if you plan on attending.
Yeah, and this is a great way, because I know that we talk to our catalogers and our members talk a lot, but you haven't had a chance to put a name and a face together. This is also a great chance to do so. So which of the following does not need to happen before a new Share policy can be enacted? Such as recognizing Dina Porter Appreciation
Yes.
Day. A, members vote on the policy after the annual Share members meeting. B, the policy is signed by the Share director. C, feedback and comments on the policy are received from Share members. And D, the policy is voted on by the Share Executive Council. Few seconds for this. John made this one. This one's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, it's a teaching moment.
Nah. I think I got it wrong. I want to change my.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the policy is signed by the Share director. Good job.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that. The reason I put this in is because it's a long process. And sometimes we get questions about like when certain things are gonna happen. So the process for a policy is generally, Share staff will be notified that someone has an idea for some kind of policy, and then what'll happen is that we will take that to whatever committee is applicable, such as the circulation committee or the bibliographic and cataloging standards committee. The committee will talk about whether they should have a policy, a new policy, change a policy. They'll talk about what the wording should be. And then they'll discuss what that's gonna be. And then at the next meeting, generally, a full policy is then presented to that committee and they vote on it. If they vote for it to go on, it then goes to the shared executive council. Who, nope, that's wrong, sorry. See, it's confusing. Before it goes to executive council, if the committee votes to pass it on, it has to go to share member comment. So we have to get comment on it from our members, to get any feedback, before it goes to the executive council. Once we've given enough time for feedback, then it goes back to the committee it was originally in. If the committee looks at the feedback, they can either pass on the policy as is or make small changes and pass it on to executive council. If they make major changes, they have to kind of start all over again. And then the executive council votes on it and they vote on whether it will go to member vote after the annual share members meeting. And then if the majority of share members vote for that policy, or rather if the majority of those that vote for the policy to be enacted, then it can happen. So that was a lot of stuff I just threw at you. But that's just so like, if you ever say something that you want this policy and you hear that, oh yeah, well, you know, we're working on this policy and nothing happens for a long time. That's why, that's in our bylaws, that is the process. So like if a policy is introduced to a committee, like right before the share annual meeting, then it's gonna be minimum a year before it can become an official policy because it has to be voted on and it has to go through all the process before. So just, there we go, that's it, it's a lot.
Well, thank you
You
for,
may not have understood that because it was a lot and I was just running it out of my mouth, but if you have any questions, you can email me.
thank you, John, for elucidating the process a bit at least. So we do have an update now from Dr. Carol Hogan Downey in our communications.
Hi, thank you, Kate. All right, sorry also for the brightness. I just got a new home setup and so I'm still adjusting to, or helping it. It's adjusting, we're adjusting. Anyway, for today's update, I just wanted to go over the continually in progress IHLS advocacy page that we have. I am about to try sharing screen. So thank you, John, for putting that in chat. Sure. Okay. All right. So of course it is like many of our guides for issues guides or resource guides. I kind of use those interchangeably, though they're not really, I know they don't mean the same thing. And so it's here. I just clicked up here in this navigation, IHLS advocacy. That landing page also provides kind of a summary of what those things are for. So if y'all have visited this, if y'all visited this earlier this month or even in April, whenever it was in its earlier stages, you probably saw here this introduction and then some advocacy resources for like speaking to certain people, and whether it's the public or your trustees or elected leaders, and then just some talking points and toolkits, fun things like that. We also have the infographics, which were also shared in the newsletter, and these are image files, so you can click them to enlarge them. You can download a printable, it's a PDF, but the PDF is not accessible. If you've heard John speak on this before, it's very, very complicated to make it accessible, especially whenever it's one of these infographics. But you can download the image, click here, copy and paste alt text for sharing on social media or putting it on your website or what have you. And then it's ready to go for that. This is legislator facing. Of course, it can be for anybody, but it does say your constituents. So keep that in mind. this is also, this legislator one, it focuses on central and southern Illinois. We also have a statewide one that we've been sharing with Rails, working on with Rails, and but these two are both central and southern Illinois because we know that the audience in central and southern Illinois largely can be quite different from, our statewide audience. There are a lot of people who are concerned about some things only going to Chicago or Chicago only benefiting from things. And so this really focuses on how downstate folks do benefit too. Of course, it's also focusing on services that are funded with IHLS. So our delivery, our iLead trustee learning portal, and of course the IMLS budget. Statewide, we have another version of that infographic. This is also one that our partners at Rails made. It's a 3-pager. They made it, of course, for trustees, and all of these lead to the same thing. It just made the most sense to do it this way. All these being the printable version button is the PDF. But you could also share it on social media, yours or your libraries, which all of these, you can share on your own or your libraries. I've actually shared some of these on my own personal Facebook. We also have an advocacy social media video that you may have seen we put on Facebook. This can also go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. This also focuses on central and southern Illinois. Here are directions for how to download it and share it. Right click, and you'll see save video as, you click that, and you get a title or whatever. I have an image prepared for the thumbnail, sometimes it calls it that, or a cover. And you're ready to go with that. And yeah, use a portrait, those mirror portrait dimensions, because it's meant for social media, which most people tend to be viewing on their phones. And that's what we have so far. We will continue adding as we have ideas or people ask for certain things that are within our power. And yeah, are there any questions about that?
While people are thinking about questions, first of all, thank you, Carol. I just want to let everybody know that we don't have it in L2 or the details fully set yet, but we are also working on a webinar about our resources and what we know.
Thanks, Leah.
Anybody thinks of anything later, they have any questions, you can always reach out to Carol or anyone at IHLS, and we'll connect you with Carol to get your question answered.
Thanks. And I'll stop sharing.
Give Leah, you are quick with that. On it, Leah. Communications of it. Okay, we did that. Okay. Oh. There we go. The materials on the IHLS Advocate for IMLS page are suitable for sharing with what stakeholders? A, patrons, B, legislators, C, local business owners, D, your neighbor Larry, or E, the stranger trapped in an elevator with you, which dovetails nicely with Curtis Rogers' presentation because we learned that someone in the elevator has a captive audience.
An elevator is a great place to put some of these flyers, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. See. And the correct answer, the correct answer is all of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's it. All of them.
That's why none of them went away.
Yes, none of them went away. Got it. All right.
Okay, sorry.
All of them are correct, but we take no liability for any yes, any strangers trapped in delivery update. We have Colleen Dettenmeyer joining us through Zoom. Welcome, Colleen.
Hi, yes, good morning, thank you. Okay, I've got several announcements today for everyone. So for general delivery, I just wanted to remind the last day of the school year for delivery is scheduled for May 23rd. But if you'd like to coordinate alternative dates or you still want delivery during the summertime, you're welcome to do that. Just reach out to us on the help desk. It's just much easier to kind of plan this pause and then you tell us otherwise, rather than coordinating everything otherwise. So, okay. And then for the Edwardsville hubs, libraries, if you use tubs, you probably noticed already that we switched to the Velcro closures instead of using, or I'm sorry, we switched from the Velcro closures to using reusable zip ties to secure those tubs. And the reason for this is a couple different factors. The Champaign hub, when we began using the new style tubs, they actually started using those reusable zip ties right off the bat. They didn't even use the Velcro zip ties. And we had a lot of good reviews as far as the ease of using them. And then they didn't have the same problem we've been having with like the Velcro breaking down. And with the Velcro themselves, it's a little bit more tedious to be able to put that lid on and secure the tub. So we did go ahead and make that switch. And I just had a couple reminders when you're using those zip ties. If you can try to insert the zip tie going downward. So if you're looking at that tub, just go ahead and put the zip tie straight down. That actually makes it easier to take the zip tie off than if you were to insert it going downward up. And we have some information on our website about that in a little video, and I'll share the link here in the bit on the chat so you can check that out if you want. And then just also a reminder, please don't close that zip tie all the way up against the tub. We ask that you leave at least like 1 to 2 fingers so that we can put a finger in there to be able to push it and pull it off. But if you have any questions, reach out to me about that and we can discuss how to troubleshoot whatever issues you're having going on with those. And then for share members with the AMHS updates, we do have the machine up and running in the Edwardsville hub, and our staff are in this transitional phase where we're still kind of learning how to operate the machine, still getting a process down. So we do have a little bit of a backlog going on at our hub because it's just like, as we've been using the analogy, it's just like typing. We're not going to start off typing 80 words a minute. It takes some time to kind of learn a process and get used to it. So this phase, we do kind of expect over the next month or two to kind of get used to it and get a handle on a process that works for us. We also do have a couple changes to make with the machine itself. So I did send information out to all the Edwardsville libraries though, both in that email and then a paper memo as well. And we had just a couple requests and I wanted to go ahead and go over those here too as well. So if you did not receive a paper memo and you want a copy, reach out to me and I'll send that to you. But I did want to clarify that when we talked about the rubber bands and the padded mailers on that memo, that's specifically only for the share member to share member borrowing in Polaris. That does not apply at all to like the ILDS, if you're using OCLC, any of the cataloging items. You can still continue to use the padded mailers and the rubber bands on those items. It's just for when we're sending items through the machine is when we ask that you stop using those for that purpose. We also listed that if it's possible, when you're packaging items into the tubs themselves, if you can place the barcode facing up. We do realize that there are some libraries that are still kind of working on getting outside barcodes. So if it's not outside, don't worry about it. Obviously, we won't be able to find it that quickly. But if it is an outside barcode, please just face it in that tub facing upwards, because as we feed on the machine, we do have to face that barcode upwards to be able to scan it, and we have to exactly scan it on a line. So it is easier when we're unpacking these tubs to not have to play hunt the barcode so much and just face it upwards. And of course, it's acceptable then as well to just put that transit label on the back. I know we're very used to putting it on the front of an item, but if the barcode's on the back, you don't have to flip it over to put the transit label on the front. You can leave the transit label on the back, and then that does kind of help us identify where the barcode is as well. Okay, what else did I have on my list? Oh, and just a reminder, we will plan to continue those transit labels through December 31st, 2025. And then lastly, if it isn't possible, please don't cover up that barcode. I know that we do have some members that have the barcodes kind of further down and it's impossible. So we'll just remove that transit label to scan it to put it on. But if you have the transit labels near towards the top and it is possible to slightly move that down a little bit so it's not covered, that would also make a big difference when we're working on the machine. Okay, and then I also want to announce, if you're interested in seeing that Edwardsville machine in person, we are hosting a board meet and greet that will be on May 27th, and it will be at 3:30 in the afternoon is when it starts. We'll have a little bit of networking, and then we'll have a formal ribbon cutting with the Edwardsville Glen Carbon Chamber of Commerce. And of course, you'll be able to see the machine in action. So you're welcome to attend, and please sign up on L2 if you do plan to attend. So we have proper amount of arrangements for light refreshments. And then, as always, reach out to me if you have any questions about things. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. For share members, which direction should barcodes face in the tubs? A, down, B, up, C, no outside barcodes, or D, doesn't matter? Right, it is up. And now we have our membership team update. Ellen, do you have anything from membership?
Sure, really quickly, again, if I didn't thank you last month, thanks from all of us to all of you for successfully completing the certifications. We will, the board will take action at their May board meeting on any libraries that did not meet the qualifications and will be suspended. And the next job that we always reach out to you about is that now is the time of the year for you to, for public libraries, to fill out their non-resident fee information. We've contacted all of you, so the deadline for that is June 30th, and we will be following up. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Kate or Sarah Taylor or myself, and we'll be happy to work with you to get that done. Especially if you're new and this is your first year doing that, really reach out. We can walk you through it very easily. And that's really all the update I have, so I can pass it on to Kate and Leo.
Leah, do you have anything? I know your kind of travel's winding down with the school, the summer
Yes,
approaching.
yes, I won't be out on the road too much now that school's almost out, but that's okay. I have plenty to keep me busy, so.
And my update is really, I've been out on the road a bit. I have some trips planned for the rest of this month, a few site visits. If you are a library and I haven't come to visit you yet, your public library, you're on the list eventually. If you want me to bump you up, just contact me and I will schedule something this summer. I've been half joking that if you're having any programs this summer that involve animals, especially baby goats that are put onto costumes.
Chester.
Yeah. Then you will be top priority in my visits. No, but I really do look forward to seeing all of you. I know I speak for Ellen and Leah and I, whenever I say we love being out in the field and seeing all of you and seeing your libraries and all of the wonderful things that you are doing. And then my announcement is I would like to recognize my coworker, Leah Gregory. If you subscribe to Library Journal, you may have seen her. Leah was given the wonderful honor of being named one of the 50 Library Journal's movers and shakers for the advocacy that she does for school libraries. If you're not, I know we have a lot of people from public libraries here. So if you're unfamiliar with Leah's work with school libraries, some of the initiatives, she's been great building bridges and collaborations across the state. The Illinois School Library Workers Symposium, which is about the closest equivalent to Directors University that they have, is a free online training day for people who are new to libraries in the school setting. And our colleagues at Rails and IHLS work very hard to put that on each year. And then Leah and Jeanette DeRuppy from Rails have a podcast called Can't Shelve This, where they hammer home the importance of school libraries. So it is a great listen. And so it is just my honor to announce to everyone here that Leah is a library mover and shaker. We will be having a celebration at the end of the month at our Edwardsville hub. So keep your eyes out on the listserv for that if you would like to come and join us in celebrating Leah. So.
Kate's focused on making me blush every time she talks. I do want to tell you that the most recent episode of the podcast is probably applicable to all types of libraries. It is called The Airing of the Grievances, and it's all about library rants. So please feel free to take a listen because there's some funny ones. Oh, this is a gimme.
Just gotta hammer home the importance of
You
this.
just have to look at what the answers are.
Leah Gregory has received which national recognition from Library Journal? A, mover and groover, B, mover and shaker, C, noisemaker and shaker, which if you
That's
worked
it.
with her,
That's
yeah.
Noise maker.
Or D, mover and improver.
I have one volume naturally and it's loud, that's just. And Jace has worked with me, so he knows.
That's right, it is, okay. Final trivia question of the month. I'm gonna turn it over to John.
Okay, so fun animal fact time. Okay, what bird lays the world's largest egg in proportion to its body size? And your options are A, kiwi, B, emperor penguin, C, peacock, or D, emu.
He's so happy.
And I will say, because this is a John trivia question, there will be some associated fun facts to add more context after the answer is revealed. And I will also say, Kate has told me she hates this fun fact. Okay, the answer is the kiwi. And if you go to the next slide, there's a picture of a kiwi and her eggs. And you can see they are quite large. So the kiwi is native to New Zealand. In fact, that's why people from New Zealand are called kiwis. It's because of the bird. It's also critically endangered, but that's sad. It has no wings. It cannot fly. Its feathers are actually very much like fur. It looks like this weird little, like furry little biped long beak bird thing. They are about the same size as a chicken, but their egg is about 8 times the size of a chicken egg. It is equal in size to an emu egg, even though an emu is like 5 feet tall, and this is the size of a chicken. It is the equivalent in weight of a human being giving birth to a 4-year-old. When the kiwi lays its egg. Yes, and the fruit, the kiwi, is indeed named after, well, the island of New Zealand, because they grow really well there, although they're not from New Zealand. They're from China, but they grow well in New Zealand. And also I think the fruit kind of looks like the bird because it's also round
And fuzzy.
and fuzzy and brown. So
Fascinating.
Yes, thank you for another fun trivia question and fun fact that I will never forget. Okay, our
Maybe you're not
leaderboard,
kidding.
we had so many people get high scores. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we did have, somebody pull ahead, Aaron at CE Brem. We will be sending you a gift. Thank you for playing.
Nice touch.
Okay, you can stop sharing, Leah, your responsibilities are over.
Yeah.
But we do have a presentation this month. We have an update about the ICN broadband. And Troy Brown is gonna give us that update.
Find that window here. So first of all, I'm glad to be here in person here at the South Logan Library. This is my home library, so it's always great to be here and to be out in the field. They don't let me out much anymore, so this is nice. A little bit of background on what I'm talking about here is, for those of you who have been around libraries as long as I have, which is a really long time, we used to receive basically free internet from the Illinois Century Network. All we had to do was pay for the service to get to them. So, you paid for a T1 with Verizon or whatever you could afford. And as long as you could get to the Illinois Century Network, they would provide you internet at no additional cost. I've been pushing for that for a while because they had funding cuts just like the rest of us, and they started charging a portion on top, and it just became ridiculously expensive to where we couldn't even touch it. And to the point where now there's basically no libraries left on the Illinois Century Network, with a few exceptions. This library actually being one of those exceptions, because they have cooperated with their city and get internet directly through the school district, who still does get free internet access through the ICN. And when I say that the school districts in Illinois get free internet access, they don't pay for their circuit or the access from ICN. And I was like, that is great. I am so happy for our schools that they pay exactly $0 for gigabit and sometimes 10 gigabit internet speeds through the state. That is amazing for them. Where do all these kids go to continue learning once they exit the school system? The library. For the rest of their lives, we want the library to be that continuing education, that place where people can go to continue their education. And I have been pushing for this for a while. I wish I had perfect news for you today that this is resolved. But the fight is still happening. I'm going to share an email that was sent. But I've been talking with Assam at the Illinois Century Network, as well as Robin Woodson. And this email went out yesterday to everyone. And if you're anything like me and you get a lot of emails, you may have looked at it and just deleted it right off the bat because it felt like just another thing on top of everything else we're doing. So I'm just going to kind of reintroduce it, and it might still be in your deleted email bin, or we will be sending out this registration link additionally in newsletters and email blasts. So don't worry if you've completely thrown it away. But this is a webinar where we're going, the ICN is actually going to present what the options are for Illinois libraries. They've been very cooperative and they want libraries back on the network. Right now, their pricing model doesn't allow for free, but there is legislation in the pipeline right now that is basically has passed the House, is in the Senate for the second reading yesterday, and I believe it got on the calendar for the third reading. That will basically prioritize libraries at the same level that K-12 schools are currently being prioritized at. It doesn't mean there's money behind it, but it just kind of starts that process to make libraries be the same level as K-12 schools. And that is very, very, very good news in Illinois. So I'm here to tell you about this webinar on June 3rd. It's in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. It's scheduled for an hour. I don't think it'll take an hour, but it's basically the first step that if you are interested in taking advantage of this very high speed state provided internet, this is the first step that you have to do. It commits you to nothing. It just will put you in the state's bidding process for circuits, so that when the bids come back, you can look at the numbers and say, yes, I'd like to proceed, or no, I would not. And that's kind of where this conversation is leading us. I would like as many libraries to participate as possible, even if you're like, I've got a great deal and I'm not going anywhere. I would just like us to have this as another point of data that we can then say, okay, Southern Illinois is still struggling to find low cost, high speed internet. Because this is what I'm getting from my current provider, and here's the state's procurement process telling me this other number. So I think the data would be great. I would love to get as many libraries to do this as possible. And what they're going to ask you to do is basically fill out the E-rate form that gives the state permission to apply on your behalf for the E-rate procurement process. So that's really what this is boiling down to, is there's a form that you have to fill out with your address and sign it to give that permission to the state. So the big question right now that I have and that you all will have is how much is it going to cost, and I can't tell you that. This is a year-long process. Anybody who's familiar with E-rate knows that you're either applying for the next year, you're in a year, or you're requesting funding for a previous year. So it's an ongoing process, and so this is the very beginning. But those forms do need to be in in June as early as possible. So please register. The event is on L2, but the link in L2 will just direct you to go register at the Illinois Century Network's link. And then that is Tuesday at 2 o'clock on June 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, here, did you have a question?
Yeah, so we currently use our E-rate for our internet, so it brings down our cost. Would that be the same sort of thing that we could do? with this?
Exactly the same. So your E-rate, this same discount you receive now would be applied to whatever circuit is bid from the state.
Just depends on how it all shakes out.
Well, correct, and Assam was telling me that they are getting consistent quotes from like AT&T for like $120 a month before the E-rate discount for gigabit speeds. So it's aggressive. Spectrum, who's also an AT&T company, is giving very similar pricing, but they're getting like 10 gigabit quotes for like $300 a month for 10 gigabit. And to be honest, most of us we don't even have the infrastructure internally right now to support 10 gigabits. But, you know, we do have the infrastructure to support 1 gig. Almost all libraries do. So that is something that would be, I don't have to think about broadband or my internet access again for many years if I had 1 gig. The gotcha right now is there's still an ICN cost on top of the AT&T. So that's what I'm pushing for to get rid of. Assam is actually, he's like, I'm working on this. He just, you know, it's a state government department and they can't say certain things. I'm hopeful that this goes somewhere. You know, for those of you who don't know, my job before coming to the library system was with the Illinois Century Network. And so my job was going to schools and libraries and hooking them up for internet access. So this is just like, take it back to the way it was, because this is how it worked so well. And then when there's a problem, they have amazing staff there that can help you troubleshoot your access, or they do like when I say filtering, they don't do the content filtering that we think of, but they're filtering out denial of service attacks, hacking sites. They're doing like deep network style filtering that you just don't get from the commercial providers. They let anything and everything through, which I get. That's fine for a home. It's not great for businesses. So I'm a big proponent, but only if it costs the correct amount. You know, I love the ICN, I do, but it's got to be the right price. And so that's what we're still struggling with. So find that email. It's coming out in the share newsletter if it hasn't already. It will be coming out in probably an email blast as well, just to our membership. And so any questions from anyone on that?
He says that the link in L2 is giving in 404 error.
Great. Exactly as I planned it. Thank you for that. I will double check it as soon as I can.
I didn't get a 404, but I am not getting probably what you're supposed to get. Oh, no, I did get a 404. Okay. Yeah, that means that working.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. We'll get that fixed. Yeah, I remember the old days of ICN. If anybody wants to raise their hand and make me not feel so alone in remembering the days of ICN. But, okay.
I'll just say, once I left, the thing just went down. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. There's actually no third Thursday next month in June, because it's on Juneteenth. So that is an IHLS holiday. So you get a mini summer break, and then we will be coming back in July for our last hybrid one that we have scheduled. We will be at Vespasian Warner Public Library up in Clinton, Illinois. And then after that, we are planning on going into a entirely virtual virtual Members Matter and Third Thursday CE. So I look forward to seeing you if you can come to Clinton in July. And if not, we'll cross paths soon and I'll definitely see you online. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.